a Euro-Native American of Sami ancestry, Norway, Sweden, Russia. So the Sami people are the original peoples of Northern Europe, specifically regions of modern-day Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. So if you want original Northern Europeans, that's Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. And so I actually am 1/4 or more Sami, and I'm Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, and I'm filming this in the morning on Wednesday, 13 November 2024. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what it has been like for me being of European and Native American, a Euro-Native American, being of European and Native American ancestry, so a Euro-Native American, with an emphasis on my Sami ancestry. So I'm 1/4 from regions of modern-day Norway, and then I am less than 1/4 from regions of modern-day Sweden and Russia. So my mom's dad was 100% Sami and before, Old Norse and before, and Sami and before. So purebred, so to speak, of north of what is modern-day Bergen. So we were northern people, Arctic people, not very much Arctic people. The Sami are very much Arctic people. And then through my mom's mom, Sweden and Russia. And so if there's an Edward Fuller in that line and they're not of Duwamish and Russian ancestry before them, even though he's from England, there was contact before then, then that's the wrong Edward Fuller. And a lot of people construct erroneous family trees these days and stuff. They're just like, ooh, look at this. Or they use erroneous scientific evidence. But this is it. I'm after ancestral origins because subsequent interference can be so erroneous. And so is there the two, I would perhaps, it's kind of well known, there's original peoples to kind of regions of all over Europe. There is, however, the getting the architectural, or not architectural, archaeological evidence, up to speed is a process. And so if people say that I'm Caucasian, that is actually incorrect. The Caucasus region was by the Black Sea, and I have 0 original people's ancestry to that region. So I am white and not Caucasian. That's a type of white that I am not. I'm the radioactive white person that's actually not white. The Sami did not have stereotypical like American blonde hair and blue eyes. That's not actually original peoples. Northern Europe, fun tidbit, where you have a little bit of a darker blonde. So that's kind of always an interesting one. We have been invaded from the south. So there's a lot of people who call themselves Scandinavians or Norwegians or Swedes or Russians who don't have any original ancestry to those regions, even though their family or families have lived there for decades or centuries, or even thousands of years. The Samis go back like over 10,000 years before present. All right. So there's been a lot of people that have come and they want to paint themselves as the pure European, but they're not. Right, they invaded us a while ago, or even not so long ago. There's the people who moved to Norway and go, now I'm original people. That's common in the United States of America as well. People immigrate and then they go, they're Native American. They're American and like are representative of everything American. It's like, no, you're not. I'm multiple tribes Native American, multiple peoples Native American, and that's not representative of us whatsoever. So people get a little mixed up in their head, which is an interesting one from an original people's perspective of like, well, there's been world wars that have been fought by original peoples protecting their own land, and then they're called the villains. Right? So there's, at least in Europe, right? Japan was like the opposite. Right? There was like a balance, and the Japan was expanding, and then like, so yeah, but it was fighting for the expansion, whereas like Germany and Italy were fighting for the protection of the original peoples. But Japan was fighting for the expansion of its own culture, whereas Germany and Italy were fighting for the preservation of their original people's culture by removal of invasives. All right, so which is always kind of interesting is like what gets classified as a bad guy. I certainly have been classified as a bad guy for being of this ancestry, for being an original peoples of Northern Europe. Those people are ignorant and tend to be very dumb. Just put it that way. Like, they might not even know what a Sami is, and I'm like, shit for brains. Spewing hate and discrimination against white people. And then saying it's synonymous with Caucasian. Shit for brains. That's a different region. That's a very particular region, too. So, yeah. So, I guess perhaps what I'm just trying to say is, this is a particular ancestry that I am that is very interesting just to watch and see how stupid people are when they speak about like white people or European people. And I just go, inferior intelligence. If you were smart, you wouldn't speak in the first place. Like, so it's been some of the ethnicities that I am are. It's interesting to have the perspective, and I'd say even so, I don't know. I've had like one supervisor in my life who was Norwegian. So I've had more African American students than I've had Norwegian supervisors. So we are rare, right? And that's on the like Norwegian level, right? We even ethnically Norwegian before we get to Sami or before. So if he was part Sami. Whoa. Now, we might have more than our fair share of albinos, so that might be part of where the blonde stereotype comes from. However, original peoples were a little... The reality check of being at a northern latitude, dark holds heat in better. Right. So, might not be super bleached blonde kind of thing. So, I would say it's an interesting one. There's a lot of stereotypes about us. However, the people who preserve that the best, I think, tend to be Asians. So there's like, they tend to be smart, if none other than they do actually differentiate Scandinavians from the rest of Europeans to be like, you guys are expressionless. You guys like bland food, you know, you're like, yeah, that's us. But yeah, so sometimes I'd say for this particular ethnicity, I feel at home with Asians because they do acknowledge that we're different than the rest of Europeans, whereas the rest of Europeans get stuck on like, we want to take everything now, so we're going to pretend or blur the line to make it look like we're this. And I'm just like, no, you have too much personality to be us. So there we go. That's on being a Euro-Native American of Sami ancestry, Norway, Sweden, Russia.